Well, hey there everybody, welcome back down into the dungeon as we take a look at what's kind of still growing on here, going into the winter garden season, and of course already starting on next year's pepper season because, well, I like to get a jump start on things. So, without too much further yakking and yammering, let's get started with the houseplant shelf, shall we? Here we've got, a couple of spider plants. What a surprise. The cuttings all seem to do fairly well under these lights. The spider plants in this, I think it's probably like a painter's tray or something. They seem to be adapting fairly well. No more tomato sprouts popping up in there, so I haven't had to do too much weeding. That's nice. Brought down this coffee tree that's in desperate need of a transplant. It's been in this party cup for 2.5, almost 3 years, I think, basically since we got it, and I brought it home to transplant it. The pitcher plant seems to be trucking right along. Almost looks like there's aphids kind of crawling up the stem there. That will not end well for them, I'm sure. No picture on that particular leaf, but we've got quite a few of them still on the plant. Here's a new one forming there. It will be trucking along soon. This one should be opening up shortly, I imagine. Look at this monster here. This pitcher plant has been a very interesting investment. I mean, it was 30 bucks to buy it, and I thought it was dying a few times, but somehow still alive. Hardest thing for me with this one is no fertilizers in there at all. Make sure it is basically dead soil. It needs insects for what it needs. Cool though. Anyway, so we'll just slide down from there to underneath the PVC LEDs here. We've got the tray of the shot glass double cups. Mostly random pepper starts in there from the compost. A few seem to be doing quite well, others are kind of struggling along. These two here are recently transplanted, hopefully Naga Vipers, so we will see what comes of that. I'll continue to add more little cups in here though. I picked up 3 or 4 more packs of those when we were up in town recently. One of the hydroponic experiments here with the little tiny net cup. This one still doesn't have a whole lot going in the way of roots coming out of it, but we can clearly see that the plant is growing just fine. And this one here, again, we can see that the plant seems to be doing just fine. This one's been in its cup a little bit longer though. A couple weeks makes a big difference in that case. So down she goes, trucking right along. Pretty good start to the 2019 season though. Over on the Darwin table where normally the season's getting started, we've got a little leftover here from last year. As long as I see signs of life on this red demon, I'm going to let it stay, but I don't know how many more days it's got left. Little parsley's trucking right along. The tomatoes, it is way too soon for me to have tomatoes. I don't know how long I'm going to let those hang out, but for now at least there's some green to have down here. Got this poor thing, the flaming caddy, kind of recovering. Wasn't looking too happy where it was. Here we have the most recent Naga Viper planting. Got 3 up there, another 2, another 2. So hopefully I'll get some good plants out of that. This one here just recently went at it with eyedroppers full of water. Hope I didn't crush anything there. Still no true leaves popping up in this, and we have another seedling popping up there, so I don't know what is going on. Got a tricolor sage cutting, finally looks like it's rooted. Thing was flopped down a couple weeks back, thought it was dead for sure. Slowly coming back. The windowsill peppers have come down here for now. Brought them down to shake all the aphids off, and the aphids just keep coming back, so I figured I'd let them rest for a day or two and shake them off again before I take them back up. Got all the kale seedlings. These are coming along nicely. A few of them actually have little tiny true leaves on them. That's so cute. So I'll probably have to transplant those pretty soon because, I mean, that's kind of crowded in there. Kind of crowded. It's the windowsill reaper. Figure something might as well be under the light from that new little garden, so why not let this have a go while it's down here waiting for another shake at the tank. I see 4 flower starts in there at least. Quite curious to see what if anything comes of that. I believe this is where I put the basil in. And those seeds are, I don't know, they got kind of a slimy gel coat on them. Kind of looking like roe. I guess caviar would be a snootier name to say that, but to me it's fishing roe. Little pepper seeds. Staying nice and moist. Don't see any tails or anything yet, but close that back up. Exclude the light. Hopefully everything will do well. It's only been a couple of days, so it's all good. Kind of got another houseplant shelf developing over here with the flaming caddy cuttings and the flaming caddy cuttings. I don't think that's how I said it the first time. Some more spider plants in the back there. I was going to put this little garden on the shelf there, but it's like 2 inches too short in between the shelves, and unfortunately those ones are not adjustable in height. Let's see, failed cloning experiment here. There's not much point in talking about that. And then, underneath the funky LED, there's a very happy sage plant, eh? Keep cutting this back and bushing it out, and it's pretty much working. So that is good. The rosemary cutting back here. This thing must have rooted by now. Let's pull one of these up. If it does have roots, then I get to transplant it into something else. And lo and behold, it does. Oh, fabulous. That is so exciting. Okay, I need to transplant that pretty much right now. So, we'll take a quick look at the mint. Look at that. This mint has just gone crazy again. It's been, what, 2 weeks since I took that major corner out. It's filling itself in quite nicely. Hopefully these mints on either side will soon be just as dense as that one. Again with the hopefully, but if the basil's in that new little garden sprout up, I'll be putting them in here. Maybe more than just one. I think it can probably support more than one in each of those containers now that it doesn't have to cope with that monster ahi panic pepper plant. And of course we have yet another spider plant chilling out, hanging out. Curious to see if it'll do anything in there, so it sits there for now. I will eventually find it a better home because this is supposed to be for herbs after all. But yeah, it's coming along. It's a great little herb garden. Definitely no question of whether or not we've got fresh tasties to put in our dinners, you know? Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Once you can get your rosemary to sprout or to root, it's pretty easy to take care of from there. It's like a set it and forget it herb, but oh, it is such a pain, and I lose so many cuttings. Not as many as I lose for pepper cuttings, of course, but that is so aromatic. Let's look at the ahi Guyana here. This is growing in a yogurt container and a peanut butter container. I have yet to check and see if roots have popped through on that. Doesn't look like they have, but it's got a larger dirt planter area to see if that really affects the size of the plant, much like the little 2-inch net cups I'm going with. Because these party cups, you know, a few folks have said to me they're just not big enough. This is the ahi lemon drop. It looks like that might even be overripe. But green growth on there somehow. Kind of miraculous. Down there we've got another rosemary. It's the mother rosemary from a few years ago. I planted that seed. It's gone in and out a couple times and it's quite a trooper for me. Very happy about that. Some of these pepper plants from last year are doing great. Others are on their way out to the compost pile. Pull the rest of these poor pods off. I don't think anything else is happening on that plant there. I think I see a little bit of color in the mater plant though. We'll take that. That's not bad at all. And the mouse melon, I mean, look at that. Who'da ever thought? That just slays me. And it's desperate for a new place to grow and latch on to, so I'm really curious to see what all is going to come of that. And I sure hope I can keep it alive for next year. 2-year mouse melon. That'll definitely be a first for me. Let's see what else we got growing on here. Oh, the El Oro de Ecuador. Had itself a good shake over the fish tank the other day. Fairly aphid infested, but fish were pretty happy to help me out. And looks like I need to give it another shake here. There's more going in. but I have not put any fertilizers in any of these plants yet. I'm trying really, really hard, which means the fish water is only going into like the sage and the rosemary and things that, well, are never getting affected by the aphids. Here we have some raspberry cuttings that I'm hoping to root over the winter. Some hawthorn berries that I'm hoping to root over the winter. The ahi pennix. Got some indoor growth. Some indoor color. Take that one with me, I guess. Let's see. Oh, we've got some color on this one here too. It's another one of the variations of the pennix. I'll have to pick up that tomato tool. What's most interesting though to me as far as color, check that out. This sand dollar is the oldest pepper plant on the property and darn near one of the oldest plants we have around. And wouldn't you know, we've got indoor growth for this season and we've got color. So I'm finally going to be able to take a couple of those upstairs. That's going to be nice. Still waiting on some production from this MOA Scotch bonnet here. But if it even survives over the course of the winter and then is ready to go back outside, pretty happy with that, because everything that's ready come spring is going to be producing faster for me, giving me better numbers. I mean, look how well that El Oro de Ecuador did. Pretty much productive from the word go this year, which is great because my garden season is ridiculously short. So yes, I will do everything I can to keep these things alive. Like this one here. Whoa, this paper lantern. Really enjoyed these peppers. I never did get one to go full on red, which I was kind of told they would. But even at orange, it had some heat. It had some good flavor. I like the flavor of an orange pepper. So it works out well for me. Not necessarily pepper related, but a few more house plants. Diefenbachia is looking much happier in the larger planting. And of course, these coffee trees, the exact same age as the one in the party cup. Let me go get that for comparison. So we can see that in the case of some plants, planter size definitely does make a difference. Yeah. The next one of these pepper plants that dies off, I think their planter goes to the coffee tree. Oh, there's another ripe El Oro de Ecuador right there. Guess that'll be coming upstairs for dinner too. And that, my friends, is where I'm going to leave you this particular weekend and wrap things up and say thank you very much for joining me as we take a look at what's growing on in the basement here. Not much else going on in the house. A couple of herbs in the kitchen windowsill upstairs. A small jungle of spider plants in the studio. But basically everything interesting as defined by edible down here. So, yes, thank you all for joining me on the weekly update, and I will see you next time as we take a look at something, well, semi-garden related. Take care, everybody.